In this episode, I'm with Jasmine Starr, the GOAT of branding for creative entrepreneurs.
There are either excuses for your lack of success or reasons for your success. Nobody wants to follow people who are a constant series of sales pitches. They want to follow people, the person behind the scenes, to understand what makes that product or service so valuable. I'm really like, where can I get the cheapest leads for the maximum results? And then I know how to create content for those platforms. Like, I'm just all about doing the heavy lifting on the front end so that you know your content works. So it's not enough to say I'm targeting women between 40 and 50 who are at that place in their life. I want to know, do they work? Or does their partner work? Are they part-time? Are they full-time? Where do they shop? What's their yearly income? What kind of car do they drive? What was their most recent YouTube search? Why? Because when I understand the psychology of what they are searching for specifically on Instagram, I can create content for that.
Everyone wants to be great, but only few actually get there. And I'm on a mission to find out what all the greatest have in common. I've traveled tirelessly to find, sit down, and talk with GOATs. People that are arguably the greatest of all time at what they do. Sales, marketing, advertising, business, podcasts, branding, you name it. The way they do things may be different, but they all seem to see the world the same way. To them, success is not only achievable, but inevitable. And we'll get inside their heads as they share their expertise with me each week. My name's Mike Arce, and this is The GOAT Show. This episode is sponsored by Trainual. One of the most popular authors for entrepreneurs, Michael Gerber, said people should not run a business, systems should run a business, and people should run the systems. And having all those systems and processes organized and documented is crucial to building a scalable company. However, it can be a very daunting task to make all that happen, but not with Trainual. Trainual gives you an all-in-one solution to quickly and easily document your processes, educate your team, keep them updated with changes, and quiz them along the way to ensure they know the material. I absolutely love Trainual, and you can learn more at gettrainual.com. Again, that's gettrainual.com. And I also have to share my experience with ClickFunnels. If you've been living under a rock and haven't heard of them, they're hands down the #1 platform for building landing pages and marketing funnels. I've been using them since 2015, and it's so crazy how easily my team and I create landing pages using their proven templates and easy drag and drop system. Without any design or coding experience whatsoever, we've been able to create hundreds of landing pages within minutes that look great and close sales better than anything we've used in the past. They're great for webinar funnels, sales funnels, demos, squeeze pages, you name it. I can't even imagine my business doing as well without them. And actually right now, they're offering a free 14-day trial if you go to clickfunnelspromo.com. So I definitely recommend you guys take advantage of that 14-day trial. It's free for 14 days, and you can get it at clickfunnelspromo.com. Hello everybody, I'm Mike Arce, and welcome back to another episode of The GOAT Show, where we interview people that are arguably the greatest of all time at what they do. And today, I'm here with Jasmine Starr. Jasmine, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Man, I'm so excited. Okay, so I was told by Marcus Murphy, co-owner here of Digital Marketer, like, I gotta have you on the show. You're a big deal. And I'm like, big deal? She's a big deal, and I hear her name a lot, but is she a big deal? And then you walk in, there's cameras on you, and people are following you. And you got stuff, and your middle name is Starr, and it's just like, all right, there's so much, we gotta get this going. We figure it out, and yes, you understand social media and the behavior that people have when interacting in social media and how they're connecting with each other better than anybody else. So we're gonna be talking about that today. Is that cool?
That's very cool, I'm excited, thank you.
All right, but then not only are we gonna be sharing strategic stuff with the people listening and watching, but we're also going to be talking a little bit about how you got there and your journey along the way. Good?
Like, very good.
All right, so social media behavior. So like, why are you to go to that? What does that mean for everybody listening, wondering where are we going with this?
Okay, so maybe we should start with the backstory.
Deal.
Because in order for people to really understand where and why I'm this way, it would probably behoove us to start where I think the pattern started becoming or existing. Okay. So my parents are immigrants.
Okay.
My father's
from where?
From Mexico, and my mom's from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So they met in East Los Angeles. Very typical of the immigrant story. My dad did whatever he could to actually put food on the table. And because we lived in this really rough and tumble neighborhood, my parents decided to homeschool all 5 of their kids. They didn't want their kids going to schools with like metal detectors and drive-by shootings, so they kept us at home. And as a result of that, I feel like I lived my life on the outside. So I would stay home and I would read books and I would eat a lot of food. And by the time I was 11 years old, I was obese, but really well read. But the thing is like when you come from that like that neighborhood, when you're put into social situations as a result of wearing these badges that you as a child put on yourself, like daughter of an immigrant, I'm uneducated, I didn't learn how to read until I was 11. I was always behind the curve. Wow. So when I would go into like birthday parties or like church events, I was always the kid on the outside. And for a while, I kind of was embarrassed of that. But the thing that I learned as a child was I understood how to watch people in a room. And now as an adult, now that I know who I am and I know my identity, I'm so proud of my roots, I still walk into rooms and I understand, okay, it's like a National Geographic in my head. This person has this person does that, this is what this person wants. I got the lay of the land. Little did I realize that like my life would totally change in like 2008 when Twitter came along and I started understanding, oh my God, this is room watching in a scalable way. I started understanding what were people doing on social media, what did they want, how did they respond, what was engagement. All of those patterns proved again and again. And as the platforms became more robust, like with Facebook and then on Instagram and these other platforms coming out, I understand the patterns of behavior and then I can produce content to go through and attract more people for my business. But here's the thing, it's not about me, I'll be real. I know how to teach other people how to understand the lay of the land for their tribe and create content full of value to attract people they ultimately want to work with.
Okay, so when we say we understand patterns of behavior, so give me an example of like a couple patterns or even just one pattern that you've noticed you're like, I noticed that happens when this happens.
Are we talking about human behavior or social media behavior?
Ooh, so we're breaking it up. We're dissecting even deeper. Okay,
yeah,
can we do both?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do that.
Absolutely. So like on social media, what I see a lot of entrepreneurs, like if I just took a room of here people at traffic and conversion, it would be that their behavior comes from insecurities and the inability to articulate what makes their product or service good. And so what they do is they lead with a sale, a sale, a sale. My widget is new. My widget comes in green. My widget is holiday seasoned. I have a pop-up shop for my widget. I'm launching my widget. And what they lead is with what they know. Right. But nobody wants to follow people who are a constant series of sales pitches. They want to follow people, the person behind the scenes to understand what makes that product or service so valuable. So when you see these patterns of sale, 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 it indicates to me that they're either one, not confident in their product, or two, not confident in the presentation of their product or service. That's a pattern you've seen again. And so I then teach people how to be okay with who they are as entrepreneurs, give them a proven track record. Here's the thing, people want to succeed. They just don't know where to begin. Right. And so I feel like I can step in and be like, yo, homie, like let's break this down. Let's create some content that you're so excited about. Let's create content that comes from your gut. Because the thing about digital media is that people smell crap. It's like this is what happened. The internet has made us so transparent that the minute you're just fake or disingenuous, when we think the words are like vulnerable and authentic or overused, no boo, it's just getting started.
Okay, so that's social media
yes.
behavior.
Yes.
Now what about human, like normal human behavior? Similar?
Very similar, except it's more disguised because we've had literally decades to refine the way that we do these, like cover up our social inadequacies. And you're talking to truly somebody who's so awkward. I am awkward in all intents and purposes, but now I can identify the awkward in people and be like, you and me, I see you. You know, it's like, I get it, like I'm totally okay with that. But like what I see, like I'm just coming off from lunch and what I saw was groups of people on the periphery looking at the silverback gorilla in the center of the room, right. Leading with the business card, talking so much. Oh, did you know that I was on the G.O.A.T podcast? It's like those people.
Well, that's pretty brag-worthy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
who are we kidding?
If I was on the G.O.A.T podcast, I'd be doing that. I'm going to walk
outside right now and be like, hello, I was on the G.O.A.T podcast. No, but what happens is we lead with these identifying factors as like a totem pole of our success. When our success should be determined by the legacy we leave and the people that we helped and the memories and the experiences that we created, not all the things we accumulated for ourselves.
Right. Okay, great. So now that we understand these patterns and we can see these things, now you say you help people. Yeah. You help people identify who they are and how to really get their message out to the world, how to start being successful. So what does that mean? Like, where do you think the most common person stuck?
The most common person stuck is understanding the type of content to create. So for better or for worse, I know who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to just wild dreamers, people who are passionate creatives, people who believe that their business can succeed, but they themselves do not know how to create value-driven content. They're technicians. I build this.
I make that. I create this. But then all of a sudden, when you have these upper level conversations about a marketer, a manager, a visionary, that's where people get stuck. And so I just help people create content. I help people show up. I am indifferent of a social platform. If next week you tell me that underwater basket weaving is the thing that's going to grow your business for the cheapest, like highest ROI, watch me hold my breath. I am really like, where can I get the cheapest leads for the maximum results? And then I know how to create content for those platforms. So I love having conversations about content. People come up to me, I don't know if you can help me because I do this. Listen, if you're a one-armed Indian farmer from Minnesota, I will help you create content. Watch me. And I feel like when you empower people, so the difference between help is I will tell you what to do or I will help you do it. Empower is I teach you and then the onus is on you. So I empower business owners to learn how to create content to grow their business.
So with your experience in case study, do you find the one-armed Indian farmer from Minnesota to be the most challenging? I'm kidding.
No, I think they're most
that is the worst. There doesn't get worse than that.
Or more intriguing. I actually feel like the more odds that because here's the thing, social media just excels in America because we love the idea. And actually specifically even Great Britain, we love the B-listers. We love the underdogs. This is why Rocky just does great things. This is why Katniss Everdeen wins. We love cheering the underdog. So if you look here and you say, oh, look at all these like liabilities against my business, I will never succeed. Guess what? With that attitude, you won't. But if you say, look at all these things I can't succeed, but hell, watch me do this. We cheer for those people. We raise those people. We elevate those people because you were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You actually went and got it. We love that story. So many of us don't share it.
So let's talk about some of the people that you've helped. Let's talk about your favorite one. Everyone's got their favorite one. The one they're like, man, I want to duplicate her 100 times or him 100 times. Who would that person be?
I mean, I know this sounds super cliche and like it's a cop-out, but it's an amalgamation. It's like, to me, it just wasn't one success story that, oh, I helped this person like transform their business into a $3 million business, because that doesn't mean anything if that is not her or his definition of success. We can't impose on others our standards of what we think. Oh, more money, more cars, more yachts.
And we don't even have to say that, right? Let's take money out of the equation. Let's just call it like the definition of success to that person.
Yeah.
Right. So if we were going to say like, hey, you know, we got this person there. That person is telling everybody they did it. They accomplished it. They're Rocky, right, at the top of the stairs. So, and we don't say who, but like, give me an example of like where that person was and where they ultimately came to.
The craziest thing and the pattern that I've seen with a lot of my students is it has less to do about their business and more to do with them. That they got to a place where they believed that they were a success and then manifested that success and then helping, and then they feel like they're in their place of power. They're doing the thing they feel they've been called to do, and then they share that knowledge and information with other people. So you're monetizing, you're providing for your family, but you have this deep sense of satisfaction that you're serving a higher purpose, that your legacy is in motion, that you say, everything's aligned in my life. I'm getting and I'm giving, and as long as that ratio is, I believe the ratio should be 51-49. If I'm getting 49% of this relationship, I'm winning. And I hope that other business owners understand that if they give 51% value to their customers, to their clients, they say, I know you're getting the slightly better end of this deal, but hey, I'm taken care of, then we win.
Okay. So question, when you meet somebody, do you have to kind of like break them down first, like understand where they're at, like ask enough questions to really find out who they are, where they're at? Okay, so why not?
Because
like, how do you get them to where they want to go until you know who they are and where they are?
It's like, it's my power play.
Okay, so can you power play me?
Sure.
Oh man,
okay.
I haven't been power played in at least a week.
Okay, no, and here's the thing, all of a sudden I don't want to feel like I'm a medium, like I just call on it, you know, it happens. Most of the time it happens when there's not cameras on, and like most of the time there's not like in a power, like in a position of I'm guiding the conversation and blah, blah, blah,
sure,
blah.
Sure.
So I mean, yeah, we can absolutely talk about it. A little bit different.
Yeah.
But I will say before we go to that is like, my mom is Puerto Rican and my dad's a Mexican, so I'm a hardworking girl with an attitude. And so it's like he also enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, so he raised us to like spit shine our shoes and give no excuses.
It's so crazy. You know, my wife is half Mexican, half Puerto Rican, and
What?
her dad was in the Marines.
Oh my God, I love her already. Like we're gonna be best friends. Like so
Yeah.
she's gonna get being woken up to like the United States Marine Corps like theme song. Like on the United States Marine Corps birthday, my dad has a bottle opener. It's like da 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 da.
Yeah, we wake up to Las Mañanitas.
Okay.
On the birthday.
Oh,
that
yes,
sort
of
thing.
course. Of course. See, like, you know you're legit when that happens.
Yeah.
So he raised us to believe, he raised all of his 5 children to believe that there are either excuses for your lack of success or reasons for your success. So when
Okay.
people come at me, when I talk about like a power play, when I talk about talking to somebody about bringing something out, I just don't even, everybody leads with an excuse. They say it's a reason. Well, my mom is sick. I'm working 3 jobs. I'm a student. I don't have any money. I'm an immigrant. They classify them as reasons, but I will come at you and say, that's an excuse. Because there's millions of immigrants. There's millions of people who have sick parents. There are millions of people who are taking care of younger brothers and siblings. And I recently read a statistic that there was a study done over 14 years. And business owners who started a side hustle while they were full-time employed had a 33% success rate over the people who dove headfirst into building their business. So what does this teach us? That there are people with reasons and there are people with excuses. So when somebody comes to me and they're like, but Jasmine, this is why Facebook won't work with me. This is why Instagram won't work with me. This is why I can't actually launch. No, wait, stop. Tell me the reasons why it's gonna work and let's double down on those.
Yeah. So when people, come to you and they're like, all right, now we figured it out, Jasmine. We talked about it. We go, okay, great. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. I'm proud of that. Now I got to get that message out. Okay, so now what?
Create
What's
content.
The next step? So when we create content, what's your favorite platform? Is it video? Is it blogs, guest blogs, podcasts? Is it all of them?
Well, the knee-jerk answer is all of them, all the time, in all ways. Absolutely.
Okay.
But that's not necessarily a viable option, specifically for like newish business owners who have to learn everything. So in that case, I would say to understand where your dream customers are existing. Depending on the age, depending on the gender, depending on the industry, those platforms all look different. Like people could say like LinkedIn is like a thing of yesteryear. No, it's not. If I was marketing to like C-level corporate entrepreneur, or C-level corporate members who are guys in their 50s, LinkedIn is where I want to be, like period, the end. If I'm marketing to 18-year-old girls, even though people say Snapchat's on the way out, there's still a big enclave of people there. So it depends on the platform depends on who your customer is. And once you're on that platform, then creating content in a way that speaks to those people. Because a lot of times what I see is like people will go to Instagram, they post a photo, and then they automatically push it to Facebook and Twitter. But studies shown that those photos on those other platforms don't exist because they don't look like they were native to that platform.
Okay.
So pick your platform according to who your dream customer is, and then 2, double down on that platform and create content in a way that people want to consume it there.
Okay. So let's say I'm targeting women between 25 and 55 years old. I'm a fitness studio and I want to make sure that my studio within 5 miles, I want to be the star.
Great.
Not the Jasmine star, but the star, right? I want to be the star within 5 miles. I want everyone to know who I am because I'm proud of what I'm doing here. I believe I'm making a difference in people's lives. And now I want to get as many people to come in and know who I am so we can help change their lives. So women 25 to 55, where do you go? How do you do it? What do
My
you start?
first recommendation would be like that number's too broad. Because a woman
Still
who's
too broad.
Much too broad.
Okay,
I put
let's
like
say 25 to 45?
25 to 33.
Okay, 25 to 33. Okay, so let's say,
Because-
then let's say it's like 30 to 40.
Third, I would say, here's the thing, a woman who's at her 30s, who just turned 30, she's like at the point to where she might just be having kids, or she just had a kid, or she's just getting married. So the vernacular that you use in your copy, like speaks to her. Like, want to lose those last minute pounds before you say I do. Want to lose that last minute belly fat just after her first baby. Now the woman in her 40s, she's probably at a very different place. Her kids are likely maybe in junior high if she started having kids around like 28 to 30. They're kind of entering to junior high, and her metabolism changed. So the copy that you're creating, your top of funnel opt-ins are different for those people. Now here's the thing that I have to clarify. Whenever I talk about narrowing down, everyone's like, oh my gosh, no, like that's too small of a market. No, you're creating content for a very specific person. You dial into that person so clearly. Yes, you will attract other people, but it's aspirational to aim towards that what thing is. So I will tell you, I follow a lot of very strong, masculine, male entrepreneur leaders. I know I'm not their target demographic, but the content that they're creating and the way that they're speaking resonates with me on a deep level. Am I their target? No. When they talk about like sports and UFC, I have a cursory knowledge of what that is, but the way that they're presenting it, be like, I can get behind you. I get it. So the idea is to hone in specifically who you want to target, create content for that person, you'll attract others, but the minute you put a stake in the ground and say, this is who I am, this is who I'm for, it becomes wildly appealing and it helps you stick out from the rest of the crowd.
Okay, so let's say we want to go after that 40 to 50.
Okay.
Okay, kids are a little older now.
Yes.
I feel like I haven't been in the game as much. I've kind of let myself go, but now the kids are a little bit more self-sufficient. I got to get my workout back on.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm ready for it. So now, what does that person need to see now that you understand behavior and all that stuff? I'm the fitness. I'm a woman that owns a fitness studio, and I want to help this type of person. What kind of content do I put out? And when you talk about top of the funnel, so maybe you know about the next parts. Like, what's the journey of that person from prospect all the way to customer?
So, I mean, here's the thing that people don't like is like, I'm just all about doing the heavy lifting on the front end so that you know your content works. So it's not enough to say I'm targeting women between 40 and 50 who are at that place in their life. I want to know, do they work or does their partner work? Are they part-time? Are they full-time? Where do they shop? What's their yearly income? What kind of car do they drive? What was their most recent YouTube search? Why? Because when I understand the psychology of what they are searching for specifically on Instagram, I can create content for that. Because the stay-at-home mom with 3 kids who's 43 is very different than the CEO female entrepreneur who's 45 and decided not to have children. Who are you going after and what kind of money do you think that they're spending? Because the stay-at-home mom of 3 will likely do group classes because that's what she can afford. Now the CEO who's 45 without kids can probably afford specific one-on-one training. So you create content. Now you can create content for both of those ideal customers, but what do you want your studio to be known for? High-end, tailor-made workouts, or this is for the people, of the people, inspiring. We put you in groups, we have accountability, we have meal plans, we have those check-ins. 2 very different people that you're marketing to. But once you know specifically who you're marketing to, you're going to create content for that person. So for that stay-at-home mom with 3 kids, it's like how to squeeze in your workout at bath time. And so then, you create a 60-second tutorial on doing squats against the bathroom ledge, doing step-ups against the bathtub. Probably not safe. I mean, I'm just thinking stuff that you can do. Bring in a band, sit on the toilet, and while the kids are there, you're just stretching out your legs. You're creating content that is irreverent, that's a little ugly, highly vulnerable, but highly shareable. Now, if I was going after the CEO, I wouldn't be creating myself on a toilet with kids and magnets in the bathtub. That's not on brand for me. What I would be doing, we're talking about, what does it look like? I want you to come into my studio. I'm gonna have a one-on-one conversation. You know that experience when you hire a personal shopper at Bloomingdale's? We're gonna create that for you here in my studio, a tailor-made specifically for your body type along with a meal plan. I'll see you in the studio. Very different. We have to understand the psychology of what they are looking for on the platform and then create content for that.
Who are you specifically targeting?
Oh, I'll tell you. She has a name.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, her name is Elle. She's 33 years old. She lives in Manhattan Beach, California. She has 2 sons. She drives a white Range Rover. Her husband is a lawyer. She grew up in Ojai, California. Her dad was a goat farmer, and so then she learned how to make goat's milk, and she would get flowers and she would press them into the top of the soap. She met her husband in college, and he has become now the breadwinner. She's a stay-at-home mom, but on the weekends, she sells her soaps at the Manhattan Beach Farmers Market, and it was at the Manhattan Beach Farmers Market that a shopper, a sourcer for anthropology, came across her stuff and said, this needs to be in anthropology. So she is now a kind of novice new entrepreneur with a lot of opportunity, but she wants to know, how do I scale my business? How do I show up and how do I build my brand on social media so that when I get put into anthropology, that I have my systems, I have my voice, I know who I'm targeting.
Was there like 2 of those in the country?
It doesn't. Here's the thing.
Goat farmer.
It doesn't
Okay,
matter.
So
because
wait.
I sit down and I think to myself, people ask me, oh, Jasmine, like, how do you do a Facebook Live? How are you on Instagram? So I do a Facebook Live every week. I do an Instagram Live. People are like, how do you do it? And I was like, I can't be everything to everybody, but I write for Elle. I know that feeling of being busy. Like, I don't have kids.
So there may be, what you're saying is there may be people that are not obviously exactly like Elle, but they're pretty damn close. They resonate on some of those levels.
And here's the thing, they don't have to resonate on the levels, they have to resonate on emotional levels. That emotion of being like, I'm on the cusp of doing something so freaking awesome. Somebody's given me this opportunity. Nobody believed in me. My husband kind of scoffed at me. He was the breadwinner, and watch me do this. That, when you can create copy for that, when you can create resources for that, then you're slaying the game.
Okay, so now that's who you're targeting. That's
Yes.
who you're like, man, I'd love to get in front of those people. I'm going to create content for Elle all
Yes.
day, every day.
Yes.
Okay, so now you say you do a Facebook Live.
Yes.
And when you do your Facebook Live, do you do them within a group that you've created for Elle's? Or do you
No.
do them right from your public page?
I do them right from my public page.
Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes. Because the thing is, I liken it to like a science vernacular, and that's like an atom. So you have the nucleus in the center, and that's L. But floating all around L are neutrons and electrons. These are people who look and aspire towards L's lifestyle, or look at what she's doing, or their friends that she goes out on the weekends, or these are cousins and sisters. And so that content that I'm creating for one person actually resonates. It has like ripple out circles, but I know that when I create content for this one specific person, it parlays. Because here's the thing, I have guys who regularly invest in my programs. I have guys who regularly are involved with my community, but the nuances in the way that I speak resonates with them, particularly because either they're really freaking awesome and have great taste in like their teachers, or number two, who they're selling to are females, so they want to get and understand the female dynamic, or they just want to know how to freaking talk to their followers.
Now, we're here, this episode's gonna come out, in the future.
Very far in the future,
Right,
yes.
right. Comes out in the future. You spoke at TNC.
Yes.
Okay. So what was the topic? What was the title of your talk?
It was the Paint by Numbers Guide to Making Money on Instagram.
The Paint by Numbers Guide to Making Money on Instagram. So what's like the biggest takeaway from your talk?
Is that trust is a digital currency on Instagram. Is that if people are struggling to make money on Instagram, they're like, I don't know why it's not working. It's because you haven't built trust. Like having a digital conversion that happens on a platform, and specifically if you have a lot of followers, people think like, I don't know if I could trust that person. I don't know if they've poured into me. I don't know if I've got enough value for me to say that you're gonna deliver on the back end of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So we ask a question at the end of every show. And we like to ask a question just to kind of see how everybody thinks. So it's a question we just kind of started doing actually.
Okay.
If you could have dinner with any one person, and it could be a dinner party with several people,
Okay.
but if you could have dinner with any one person, and for 2 hours you could ask them whatever you want, but you know that no matter what, they have to tell you the truth. They can't. There's like some sort of force.
Okay.
They have to be honest, they have to tell you the truth. Who would you choose to have dinner with?
I mean, this is going to be as cliche as it comes,
Okay.
truly. But the answer is not stemmed from like naivety or like outside metrics of who this person is. But hands down, I've done a lot of like research. I'm like a nerd. Like I really love like research on Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah?
I think she's absolutely fascinating. I think that there doesn't have to be the truth serum in her life. I think that she just speaks the truth and stands in it and understands that her backstory, things that she used to be ashamed of, have now become identifying factors and makes her relatable and against all the odds. I listened to this podcast called Making Oprah. Wildly fascinating because it talked about all the hurdles that she had to jump. She had to jump higher, be smarter, be bigger, outwit. And every single time she stood up, she said, this is me, this is who I am. I find it wildly inspiring. And so I'd love to have a conversation and say, what next for the next generation? Like, how do we show up for our audience and how do we be real?
That's awesome. So Jasmine, anybody who wants to learn more about you and how you work and what you can help them with, where would they go?
They would go to jasminestar.com or on all social platforms at jasminestar.
Jasminestar.com. Guys,
thank you.
for everybody watching and everybody listening, we just spent time with the GOAT. Jasmine, thanks so much for being on.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Same
Seriously,
here.
thank you.
And we will see you next week.
Thanks for joining us today. If you like this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel or find our podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever your favorite place to listen to podcasts might be. And if you really like this episode, please leave a review for us on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.